Hello, Granite School District patrons and employees. Earlier this year, our current superintendent, Dr. Martin Bates, announced his retirement. The Board of Education set out to get community and stakeholder feedback on what qualities and attributes you wanted to see in a new superintendent. We spent several weeks listening to your thoughts and took that into consideration as we began our search. You asked for a superintendent who was a great communicator, someone who is approachable, visible, transparent, and willing to listen. You wanted somebody who valued community input, who was actively engaged in the community and engaged all stakeholder groups. You asked for a superintendent who had a strong vision and strategic plan on how to make sure all Granite kids succeed and are prepared for life after high school. You wanted a superintendent who had educational experience, as well as experience in the complexities of school finance, budgets, and funding. You asked for someone who could build upon all the good things we have going on here at Granite, as well as look at some of our challenges and make a plan on how to address and overcome those challenges. We heard you loud and clear. After an intensive search, rigorous application, and interview process, we believe we have found the correct person to lead our district. I'm pleased to announce that the new superintendent of Granite School District is Dr. Richard Nye.
As I look at public education as a system in whole, as we think of pre-kindergarten all the way up to when they graduate. Graduation, that senior year, is a through point. It's not an end point. And so our responsibility is to make sure that once they reach that through point, that they're prepared to be successful. I grew up in a little town called Uinta. It's in between Davis and Weber County. It's unincorporated Weber County. I graduated from Bonneville High School. It's in the Weber School District. There really began what was my love of certain academic subjects, whether it's science or history, the arts. My first athletic love is football. Followed by basketball, and it was football that got me to college, though. I had the opportunity to play some football for Weber State University. As a Wildcat, I bleed purple. I got a bachelor's in history and zoology, and went on to get a master's in education with a focus on science education. Bill Nye has done a lot in the world of science education, and with a last name like Nye, you really have no choice but to go into science education. I started teaching in a rural high school in Weber County, and had a fantastic experience first year teaching there. But I absolutely just fell in love with teaching. Had an opportunity to move to Phoenix, Arizona, Maricopa County. Moved into administration at that point. Again, had a principal that saw something in me and asked had I considered those types of questions. I always desired more education and higher education, so I obtained another master's from Arizona State University, this one in supervision and administration. As a commitment of being a lifelong learner, I sought doctoral studies. And usually opportunity takes you further away from home. It brought me right back home. I did my doctoral studies at Utah State and also taught and stayed in higher education for a couple years after I had received my doctoral degree. But I missed the fight and fire of public education, and so I looked for an opportunity to engage with a district, and that's where Ogden School District gave me a chance. I got my foot back in the door in public education. They brought me back as an assessment director, curriculum director, accountability and statistics, data management. The opportunity then presented itself to become the deputy superintendent for the state of Utah. But there was one key element that I was missing when I was at the state that I longed for, was that of understanding the education system through the eyes of a superintendent. And so when Ogden School District's superintendent retired, I was approached if I had any interest in returning, and it felt like there were amazing opportunities still that I wanted to pursue in Ogden, and became the superintendent in Ogden, and I've been here for 4 years. Married to a very supportive wife. Her name is Laura, and I have 3 children, one that's 20 years old and 2 that are in high school. When I think of Granite, and Granite's been a leader in the state in many, many things. The commitment to students is evident. As I see that in the teachers in the schools, it's always impressed me that the deep down, the fundamental commitment is to improving the conditions for students. As we consider what the future looks like in Granite, it's positive. There's opportunity that exists there to further refine and hone our practice. To build on those successes, moving on into the future, is exciting to me. We literally and figuratively, hand in hand with parents, raise children. And as we engage in that process, it should be understood that outside of that home, that immediate family, no one loves and wants the success more for our children than we do. Our responsibility is to make sure that those that have been given that charge to meeting the needs of children have the resources and supports they need to be successful in doing just that.